Hey, friend, have you ever felt like something invisible was blocking you? Like you could see where you wanted to go, you could picture the woman you wanted to become, the peace that you longed for, the freedom you've been praying about. But every time you tried to move toward it, you hit a wall you couldn't see. Maybe you blamed yourself. Maybe you've thought, if I just had more faith, or if I could just try a little harder, or what's wrong with me that I keep getting stuck? Here's what I want you to hear today. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not lacking faith. You've been just bumping up against something you couldn't name. And here's the truth that changes everything. You can't heal what you can't name. Today, we're diving into phase 3 of the Path Home series, what I call clearing the overgrowth. We're going to talk about the 12 hidden barriers that might be quietly running the show in your life, how religious trauma amplifies these patterns, and why finally naming what's been blocking you is the first step to getting free. This is the phase where the invisible becomes visible, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's when real change becomes possible. Okay, let's go. We are loyal Christian women. We've served, we've believed, we've stayed, even when it hurt. We gave our hearts to faith, hoping for closeness with God, inner joy, and a safe place to belong. But somewhere along the way, the closeness became distance. The joy became exhaustion. And the place that was supposed to feel like home didn't. I'm Debra Schaefer, on a mission to take back pure faith from everything that distorted it. In every episode, I'll help you name what happened, see what's keeping you stuck, and come home to a safe, loving God. Grab your tea, toss the rule book, and let's go. Before we dive into today's teaching, I want to invite you to something. If you've been wondering which hidden barriers might be operating in your life, I created a free quiz that will give you clarity. Head to religiostraumaquiz.com. It takes just a few minutes, and you'll discover which patterns might be quietly shaping your choices, your relationships, including your relationship with God. Plus, you'll get my essential starter kit, my book, a mini course, live reading circles, and community access, all completely free. And if you're ready to go deeper, to actually name and dissolve those barriers that have been holding you back, the Coming Home journey is open. End of year sale pricing ends January 1st, which means you have a few days left to join at half of what it will cost next year. Payment plans are available, and I'm doing personal calls this week. More on that later. For now, you can learn more at thecominghomejourney.com. I want to tell you about something that happens in the Coming Home journey that still gives me chills every time I witness it. It's the moment when a woman finally sees what's been blocking her. One woman spent years, decades really, feeling like no matter what she did, it was never enough. She served faithfully in her church. She showed up for everyone. She gave and gave until she was exhausted. But underneath it all was this constant whisper. You're still not doing enough. You're still falling short. God is still disappointed. She thought that was just reality. She thought that was truth. She thought everyone felt that way. And then, in phase 3, she finally named it, I'm not enough. She saw how this belief had been installed in her through perfectionist religious teaching, through leaders who always demanded more, through a theology that made God's love feel conditional on her performance. But here's what really changed things. She started to see how this belief had been running everything. It was why she couldn't rest, because resting meant she wasn't doing enough. It was why she couldn't receive compliments, because deep down she didn't believe them. It was why she kept overcommitting, because maybe if she did more, she'd finally feel acceptable. Once she saw it, she couldn't unsee it. She started noticing it everywhere, in her thoughts, in her choices, in the way she talked to herself, when she made a mistake. And something shifted, not because she forced it to change, but because once you name something, once you see how it's been operating, it loses its invisible power over you. That's what phase 3 does. It makes the invisible visible. And that's where freedom begins. Last week, we talked about phase 2, planting seeds of hope. We talked about reconnecting with your desires, giving yourself permission to dream again, remembering who God created you to be. Now we're in phase 3, clearing the overgrowth. And here's something important. When you start moving toward your vision, you're going to bump into things. Every hidden barrier will surface. Every limiting belief will whisper. Who do you think you are? Every old pattern will try to pull you back. This isn't a sign something's wrong. This is a sign that you're actually moving forward. Think about it in garden terms. We've prepared the soil. We've planted seeds of hope. But now you look around and realize there's overgrowth everywhere. Weeds that have been growing for years. Vines that have wrapped themselves around everything. Old roots that go deeper than you realized. Before those seeds can really flourish, the overgrowth has to be cleared. That's what phase 3 is about. We're identifying the hidden barriers, the invisible beliefs that have been choking your growth. And we're naming them because you can't heal what you can't name. You can't clear what you can't see. John 8:32 says, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Knowing the truth, seeing clearly what's actually been happening, that's what sets you free. Not trying harder, not having more faith, seeing the truth about what's been blocking you. Let's start with the first part of today's teaching. What exactly are hidden barriers? Hidden barriers are unconscious belief patterns that shape how you see yourself, how you see others, and what you believe is possible for your life. They function like an invisible glass ceiling. You keep bumping up against them, but you can't see what's blocking you. You just feel stuck over and over again, and you don't know why. Here's what makes hidden barriers so powerful. They don't feel like beliefs. They feel like truth. When you believe I'm not enough, you don't think, oh, I have this limiting belief that I'm not enough. You just feel not enough. It feels like reality. Like that's just how things are. These barriers are formed early, in childhood, in adolescence, often before we're even consciously aware. They get reinforced by family systems, by culture, and yes, by religious environments. They become so deeply entrenched that we don't question them. We just live inside them. And here's the key insight. Hidden barriers are not character flaws. They're not proof that something's wrong with you. They are adaptive survival strategies that once served a purpose. At some point, believing I'm invisible or I'm too much or I don't belong, that belief protected you. It helped you navigate a difficult environment. It kept you safe when being seen or being yourself was dangerous. And what protected you then is now blocking you from becoming who you're meant to be now. In the Coming Home journey, we work with 12 primary hidden barriers. Let me just name them briefly so you can start to recognize yourself. I'm invisible. I'm not enough. I'm bad. I'm not safe. I'm unlovable. I'm a failure. I'm different in the wrong way. I don't matter. I don't have. I'm too much. I'm unworthy. I don't belong. Do any of these land? Did you feel a little ping of recognition? That's worth paying attention to. And I'm going to stop right here in the middle of this episode to tell you, if you really want to find your own personal hidden barriers, go take the quiz at religionstraumaquiz.com. It'll make all of this really clear. Okay, during the second part of today's teaching, I want to talk about how religious trauma amplifies these barriers. Now, here's what makes this work unique, because these hidden barriers aren't just cultural or familial for women like us, although they may be as well. They're also deeply spiritual. Religious trauma adds layers that make these barriers even more entrenched. First, there's the layer of spiritual shame. It's not just, I'm not enough. It's, I'm not enough for God. It's not just, I'm bad. It's, I'm sinful, rebellious, fallen. It's not just, I'm invisible. It's, even God doesn't hear my prayers. Do you hear how much heavier that is? When the barrier gets attached to your spiritual identity, it feels impossible to escape. Second, there's the weaponization of Scripture. Die to self, used to erase your personhood. A gentle and quiet spirit, used to silence your voice. Submit, used to justify control. God's ways are higher, used to shut down your questions. Now, these verses have beautiful, true meanings. Of course they do. But when they're twisted and used against you, they become chains instead of freedom. Third, there's distorted theology. You were taught that God's love is conditional, that suffering proves faithfulness, that your voice doesn't matter, that submission means silence, that humility means making yourself small. None of that is true about who God really is. But if that's what you were taught and what was modeled to you, those beliefs got woven into your hidden barriers. Here's what I want you to understand. All of the barriers connect to three core wounds: disconnection from yourself, disconnection from God, and disconnection from others. Shame says there's something fundamentally wrong with me. Fear says God is unpredictable. I can't trust him. Guilt says something about me makes me unacceptable to others. Religious trauma amplifies all three. It takes normal human struggles and spiritualizes them into something that feels impossible to overcome. But here's the truth. What was installed can be cleared. What was learned can be unlearned. What was distorted can be restored. Let's move on to part 3. So why does naming matter so much? Why is this the phase that changes everything? John 8:32 again. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Not, you will try harder, and that will set you free. Not, you will have more faith, and that will set you free. You will know the truth. You will see clearly, and that will set you free. When a hidden barrier stays hidden, it has all the power. It operates in the dark. It shapes your choices without you even realizing it. It whispers lies that sound like your own thoughts. But when you name it, when you say it out loud, this is the belief that's been running my life, something shifts. The barrier doesn't disappear immediately, but it does lose its invisible power. You can see it now, and you can't unsee it. And here's what happens next. This is so important. You start to see how this barrier has been operationalized in your life. So what do I mean by that? You start to see how the belief has been playing out everywhere. If your barrier is, I'm not enough, you start to notice, oh, that's why I can't rest. That's why I keep overcommitting. That's why I dismiss compliments. That's why I feel anxious when I'm not productive. If your barrier is, I don't belong, you start to notice, oh, that's why I hold back in groups. That's why I assume people don't really want me there. That's why I leave before anyone can reject me. The barrier has been creating a whole pattern, choices, behaviors, expectations, and you've been living inside that pattern without seeing it. But once you see it, once you see how this belief has been running the show, you can't unsee it. You can't unname it. It starts losing its grip. Not because you forced it to change, but because awareness itself is transformative. And here's the beautiful part. This is what prepares you for phase 4. Once you've named the barrier, once you've seen how it operates, you come to a place where you're actually ready to let it go. It no longer serves you. It protected you once, but now it's just in the way. You don't have to white-knuckle your way to freedom. You just have to see it clearly. And when you see it clearly, letting go becomes possible. That's the power of naming. That's why this phase matters. That's why you can't heal what you can't name. And friend, if you're listening to this thinking, okay, but which barriers are actually running my life? I want you to know there is a way to find out. The free assessment at religiostraumaquiz.com is designed specifically for this. It walks you through a series of questions and then shows you exactly which of the 12 hidden barriers are most active in your life with actual percentages. You'll see which ones are running the show, which ones are lurking in the background, and where to focus first. It's eye-opening and it's free. So if you're curious, if you want to move from, I think this might be me, to now I know, head to religiostraumaquiz.com after this episode. So there you have it, phase 3, clearing the overgrowth. Before transformation can happen, you have to see what's been blocking you. You have to name the barriers that have been operating invisibly, and you have to recognize how they've been showing up in your life. Here's your simple win for this week. Look at that list of 12 barriers and ask yourself, which one feels most familiar? I'm invisible. I'm not enough. I'm bad. I'm not safe. I'm unlovable. I'm a failure. I'm different. I don't matter. I don't have. I'm too much. I'm unworthy. I don't belong. Just notice which one makes you pause. Which one feels like it might be running in the background of your life? You don't have to fix it, just name it. Because naming is where freedom begins. Next week, we're moving into phase 4, cultivating the truth. We're going to talk about what happens after you name the barrier, how transformation actually happens at the deepest level, and how God wants to show you what's actually true about you. Friend, if you heard yourself in one of those 12 hidden barriers, if something clicked and you thought, that's me, that's what's been running my life, I want you to know you don't have to stay stuck there. The Coming Home journey is designed to help you not just name these barriers, but dissolve them, to see how they've been operating, and to finally let them go. To replace the lies with truth, God's truth, about who you really are. Our end-of-the-year sale pricing ends January 1st. This is your last chance to join at half the investment it'll be next year. There are payment plans available, and I'm offering personal calls this month to help you decide if it's right for you. Go sign up at thecominghomejourney.com and email me directly if you have questions or you just want to talk at Debra@healingreligiostrauma.org. Hey friend, if this episode helped you see something that's invisible, if it gave you language for what you've been experiencing, would you share it with someone who needs this? And if you're willing, a review on Apple Podcasts helps more women find their way to freedom. Next week, we're diving into phase 4, cultivating the truth. I'll share what actually happens when we dissolve these barriers, how God reveals what's true at the deepest level, and why transformation isn't about trying harder. It's about seeing differently. Until then, remember, you're not broken, you're not lacking faith. You've just been bumping up against something you couldn't see. And now that you're starting to see it, everything can change. I'll see you next time, friend.